everyone. 2 weeks from now, one of the biggest events this borough has every year returns. We're talking about Northside, a festival that draws more than 100,000 people to enjoy music, learn technology trends, and now, as Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys might harmonize, catch a wave, a content wave. For the first time, Northside will have a collection of content panels and speakers. Joining us now to explain why is Northside's overseer of this new feature, Brian Quinn. Brian, welcome to BK Live.
Thank you. Great to be here.
How long has Northside explored a content side?
Well, we've had it at the previous innovation event for a few years. This is the first time it's a breakaway conference of its own. It's a continuation of our film festival, but essentially we wanted 2 days to bring creators, film directors, brands, platforms together to understand what's next in original video content.
Mm-hmm. And what's been the reaction from people you've talked to about being part of Northside for this new process, this new track?
Sure. I mean, everyone's super excited about this space. Obviously, there's a lot of energy behind it. And everyone's also trying to figure out what's next. What is happening with YouTube creators moving over to cable networks? How are digital media platforms now exploring video in new ways? So we're trying to create conversations at the intersection of all those.
One of the key people you've got for this first time around just won the Peabody Award this past Saturday. It's Andrew Recchi, who's the director of The Jinx on HBO, one of the extraordinary documentaries that's also opened up the whole idea of true crime on television. How was it to get him, and what will he be speaking about?
Sure. Well, many people may not know that he also has a mobile app, and it's a video creation mobile app. So Andrew is really keen about unlocking video creation for people. So he's essentially talking about the language of video creation with one of the co-founders of Giphy, which is a pretty funny pairing. But we're all about that, those wild intersections of ideas.
And who are some of the other key people you've got for this whole set of panels?
Sure. Well, so it's June 6th through 12th, and the content part is June 7th and 8th, and then innovation is June 9th and 10th. So for content, which is our original video content discussions, we also have Chad Mum from Vox. We have, let's see here.
You got somebody from Full Screen, which just started a on-demand service that's available on smart TV sets and smart devices.
Right. So obviously they were just at the New Fronts. Now Maureen is also she leads sort of the business side of the discussions and is exploring how the brands intersect with their large breadth of talent. Mm-hmm. And then for innovation as well, we have Rebecca Minkoff talking about the future of fashion. We have the CEO of PayPal talking about mobile payments. And also Samsung's CMO, Mark Mathieu, talking about VR. So that's June 9th and 10th.
Speaking of virtual reality, we have been seeing the last couple of weeks a number of companies that were at the Digital Content New Fronts and the Upfronts either start virtual reality labs or create a VR series. In some cases, they're saying, you know what, virtual reality does belong on the television set as well as what you see with the help of headgear or devices like Samsung's Gear VR, Oculus, and Next VR. What's your sense about how these VR panels are going to go? And is there a sense among the people interested in these panels that, yes, we have to do both in order for VR to get the biggest audience possible?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure where they lie, but I think we are trying to cut through some of the noise. That's why we have incredible experts like Clive Thompson, who's a contributor to Wired and New York Times T-Mag for many years, speaking with Killscreen's founder, Ari Kushner from Missing Pieces, which is an incredible company, talking about their innovations with GE. He's exploring, well, what does episodic look like for VR? There are other discussions, like with also with Ari Kushner and the artist from Pioneer Works, discussing some of between gaming and the arts, some of the explorations there and things that are perhaps pushing the boundaries of this new hardware.
Is there a good sense that you're timing this in a great way, because we're now seeing Brooklyn become a mini Hollywood with shows like The Knick, like Power for Stars, the Netflix Marvel shows, The Americans for FX, that they're all being produced here? And was there any, by the way, effort to try to get some of those producers, some of those show creators to be part of this first Northside content effort?
Yeah, in our first year, definitely a lot of effort to get them involved. Not everyone could be. Some of them have shoot schedules. But for us, it's very exciting, especially to showcase the bottom-up innovation that Brooklyn has so inherently built in. Much different than Hollywood. It's not just controlled by agents. And so for us, unpacking that and drawing the parallels and dots between those creators and then the other players in business, brands, platforms, networks, and understanding how to basically show people tactically what's happening in those spaces.
What sense do you get of the kind of crowd that's going to attend these events? And where are they going to be, by the way?
Sure. So they're all in Williamsburg. June 7th and 8th for Northside Content is at Nighthawk Cinema. The 9th and 10th is at the Wythe Hotel, Brooklyn Brewery, and Kinfolk. And so essentially people who attend, a lot of them do have a business mindset. So there are a lot of media people, brands, agencies, people in technology, but also creators and people who are film directors. This is kind of a continuation of our film festival, a little bit different. So hopefully a lot of people can learn from the ideas that are shared there as well.
Now also you've got a couple of panels dealing with venture capital funding, dealing with crowdfunding, and now you have equity crowdfunding that got in play thanks to finally the Securities Exchange Commission letting it go this past week. How much interest are you seeing among Northside creators about trying to use crowdfunding or equity crowdfunding, going to Kickstarter, Indiegogo, other places now with equity situations to get their projects going?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it is that kind of lineage out of Kickstarter. Kickstarter is about enabling a creative community. It's not just about being a crowdfunding platform. So I think with equity-based crowdfunding now, people have the ability to take their audience and maybe have them own a piece of their show. While we're not specifically covering that equity-based conversation, I certainly think it's a very important topic, and hopefully next year we'll cover that with all of the developments that have come underway.
Brian, where do you see this going year 2, year 3? Do you see, for example, the opportunity for people to pitch possible TV or web pilots, maybe a tie-in with the New York Television Festival, maybe doing your own Brooklyn TV Festival where Northside participants can get the opportunity to, for example, get their, who are outside television now, to get into the medium?
Definitely. I think it's been interesting trying to find the right voice for this new festival. We knew it had to be a little bit different, and trying to understand how it can be more business-oriented, but also look at some of those organizations that you mentioned and all of the amazing creators that we have here in Brooklyn. So as it grows, I hope we can really be a space where creators and the people involved in these businesses collide.
And Brian, we will leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us here on BK Live, and all the best to the festival starting in 2 weeks.
Thank you. NorthsideFestival.com.
Yep, and that's right. Full schedule and speaker lineup is now offered where Brian just said, NorthsideFestival.com, and it will be updated right up to festival time. All the Way premiered on HBO Saturday night. TV critics are already predicting this original film and Bryan Cranston's performance as former President Lyndon Baines Johnson will be Emmy contenders later this summer. Writer and executive producer Robert Schenken will be my guest in 2 hours on Tomorrow Be Televised. So tune in at 3 o'clock on Blog Talk Radio. And if you missed last Monday's BK Live studio interview with TouchCrunch senior editor and writer Anthony Ha, we've got an expanded live session with him next Tuesday, same hour on Blog Talk Radio. And next Monday, Roots premieres on History Channel, and the people who know say it is a great reboot of this classic miniseries with a lot of people, a lot of actors, first-time actors for television, could be up for Emmy Awards also this coming summer.
Love it. Oh, a lot going on. Wow.
And we hope to have, by the way, clips from Roots on our show next Tuesday right here on BK Live.
So like the underground effects, there's a lot of interest right now in serializing and bringing that stuff to the small screen.
Yeah, and LeVar Burton, by the way, was one of the executive producers, and Mark Wolper, the son of David Wolper, who was one of the original executive producers of Roots back on ABC in 1977, is also involved, too.
Very cool.
That's absolutely amazing.
I know,
we
Simon,
look forward to it.
Do we have time to talk about the event you went to this weekend?
Peabody Awards on Saturday saw Kenya Barris, the executive producer and creator of Blackish, saw Melissa Rosenberg from Jessica Jones, shot here in Brooklyn. Amazing event, one of the great nights of television this year.
Very cool.
And congrats to all the winners, some of whom were in Brooklyn, like Jessica Jones, Mr. Robot, Master of None. A lot of New York-produced shows were awarded this year.
And we weren't in the room, but we'll get to see some highlights.
And
right?
Shonda Rhimes was also there, too, for the special presentation.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Unbilled.
Not too shabby. Not too shabby. So when is the recap?
June 6th pivot,
All right, June 6th.
90-minute special.
We'll be looking for you in the
Yes.
background. Where's Simon right there?